biology class. Today's class is going to be a quick revision video about the lesson, the digestive system. So let's get started. So first, you have to know the definition for nutrients. What are nutrients? Nutrients are substances in a food which can help in the growth, the development and the nourishment of the body. You have to memorize this definition. There are 5 types of nutrients what we intake. They are called as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. You should also know the purpose of these 5 nutrients. What is the use of carbohydrates? It gives energy to your body. What does protein do? It helps your body to grow. It helps in growth as well as it repairs the tissues. Whenever there is tissue damage in your body, protein intake will help you to recover from that damage. Fats also provide energy, but always the priority of your body will be like first the carbohydrates will be used, and in case if your body is deficient of carbohydrates, then the fats in your body will be used as an energy source. And vitamins, it protects your body from diseases, and also the lack of certain vitamins in your body will also cause deficiency diseases. And what is the use of minerals? Minerals also have the same function as that of vitamins. So these functions also you should memorize for exam point of view. Then what is nutrition? What is the difference between nutrients and nutrition? Nutrients are substances and nutrition is a process of intake of food. So what is the definition? Nutrition is a process where you obtain the food. For what all you obtain the food? For the growth of your body, for the repair of your body, and to obtain energy you take in food, right? So the process where you take in food either for your growth, repair or to obtain energy is called as nutrition. This definition also you have to learn. Then you should, if a picture of a digestive system is given, you should know to label the parts of the digestive system. What are the various parts? It starts with the digestive system. It's also called as alimentary canal, where it starts with the mouth, and you have one more part called pharynx. Which is the pharynx? The junction between the esophagus, that is this tube, and the mouth is called the pharynx. That is, this portion is called the pharynx. Then this tube-like structure is called as esophagus. The spelling is wrong here. It should be O-E-S-O-P-H-A-G-U-S. Then you have a triangle shaped structure, and this is called as liver, and you have a J shaped structure, it is called as stomach, and you have 2 intestines, that is large intestine and small intestine. The inner coiled one is called small intestine and the outer large one is called the large intestine. The large intestine ends with the structure called as rectum and the opening called as anus. You should be familiar to label all the parts if an image of a digestive system is given. Now we will revise quickly about various parts of the digestive system. You know, digestive system starts with mouth, right? So what all you have in mouth? You have teeth, tongue and salivary glands. And the function of the oral cavity or the mouth is ingestion and digestion. What is the difference between ingestion and digestion? Ingestion means taking in of nutrients through the mouth is called ingestion. Digestion means the breakdown of a complex food material into a smaller food material is called digestion. So ingestion as well as digestion takes place in the mouth or in the oral cavity. Yeah. Then we learn about the teeth. How many teeth you have? Usually the count is 32, right? We have 4 types of teeth called incisors, canines, premolars and molars. Totally, this counting what is represented now in this classification, it is only the upper region, or actually the upper and the lower region will have the same count of incisors, canines, premolars and molars. So only the upper count is mentioned here. That is 4 incisors you have. Which is incisor? This is the incisor. The front 4 teeth what you have is called the incisors. It is chisel shape, and canines next to incisors on both the sides you have two teeth, that is called as canine. The function of canine is to tear, like when you eat chicken or you tear the meat. So for that you use that, even for biting you can use. And premolars next to the canines you have four premolars, two on both the sides, and the function of premolars is to grind, and they are usually flat. Usually the canine is pointed, but the premolars are flat in nature and they are used to grind the food. So next to the premolar you have molar. Totally 6 molars you have in the upper jaw, 3 on either sides. Okay, so they are also very large in size and they are also used for grinding. So regarding the teeth, you should know the number of teeth present and the types of teeth present, and the number of the types of teeth present also you should know, and also the functions of each type of teeth also you should know. You should learn for exam point of view. Okay. Then we learn about pharynx. I told you which is the pharynx. Pharynx is the junction between the mouth and the esophagus. It is a common pipe which is common for both the entry of air into your body and also for the entry of food. Okay, it is a common pathway where it is also a junction between the windpipe and the food pipe. It is a common pathway where air can enter and also the food can enter. What is esophagus? This one, this long tube you can find. This is the esophagus. It is just not made up of skin. It is also made up of some two types of muscles. What are those two types of muscles? It is called longitudinal muscle and also circular muscle. These two terms also you should be familiar with. The tube-like structure which is used for the entry of food is surrounded by muscles called as longitudinal muscles and circular muscles. And then we'll revise about the steps in nutrition. There are 5 steps in nutrition. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and digestion. So to remember these 5 steps, just you can learn this sentence like I do all activities easily. I for ingestion, D for digestion, A for absorption, one more A for assimilation and E for digestion. So you should know the names of the 5 steps in nutrition. Next we'll quickly revise about the 5 steps in nutrition. What is the first step in nutrition? Ingestion, right? So what is ingestion? Already I told you. Taking in food through the mouth is called as ingestion. Actually it is technically called as ingestion, but generally speaking we call it as eating, Eating is described in this way. If you take food through the mouth, then it is called as ingestion. Ingestion also includes the teeth because it helps in biting the food, chewing the food and grinding the food. And technically speaking, the food is mechanically broken. You use something to break down the food, that is the teeth we use to break the food. So teeth helps in the mechanical breakdown of the food by biting, chewing and grinding. Then what is the role of saliva in the mouth? Saliva moistens the food. It will make the food soft and wet, and so that you can swallow. Suppose if you have a hard stone in your mouth, you cannot swallow, right? So it should be soft to swallow. That is helped by the saliva. Digestion is a process where complex food material is broken down into simpler food materials. This digestion includes mouth, stomach and small intestine to break down the food. Mouth, what it does? Mouth has saliva which is secreted by a gland called as salivary gland, and this saliva has salivary enzymes, especially enzyme called as salivary amylase, and the function of salivary amylase is to break down the starch into a simple sugar called as maltose. This also you should know what is converted into what. The enzyme salivary amylase breaks starch into maltose. And then there is a term called as bolus. What is bolus? Bolus is a semi-solid structure, which means which is not a solid as well as which is not a liquid. What it is made up of? It is made up of chewed food. The food is chewed by the teeth, So the chewed food plus the saliva is called by a term called as bolus. This term also you should be familiar with. And then let's learn about the structure of stomach. And before learning the structure of stomach, let's learn what is all present in the stomach. Stomach has a juice called as gastric juice, and it comprises of HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, which can kill the bacteria, and it has an enzyme called as pepsin, and this enzyme can break the proteins into smaller proteins called as proteoses and peptones. Proteins is a complex form of protein. Proteoses and peptones are simpler form of proteins. And then gastric juice also has an enzyme called as renin, which helps in breaking down milk protein into casein. Casein means the curdled milk. Whenever you drink milk, after some time you can see curdling of the milk. It becomes like the curd, right? So this is because of the enzyme called as renin. And also stomach undergoes a process called as peristalsis. What is peristalsis? It is a movement where the food is moved from the mouth in a wave-like motion because of muscular contraction. You have muscles in the stomach which contracts and relaxes, and this creates a wave-like motion, and it is called as peristalsis. This also you should be familiar with. And there is one more term called as chyme. What is chyme? Chyme is bolus plus this gastric juice. Bolus you have studied already, no? What is bolus? The semi-solid structure which is composed of the chewed food as well as the saliva, right? So that substance bolus plus this gastric juice is called by the term chyme. Now we will revise about the final products of digestion. What are the products obtained after the food is digested? The products of carbohydrates are glucose, and they give energy, and the products of proteins what we eat are amino acids, and they are used for the growth and repair of the body, and the products of fats what we eat would be fatty acids and glycerol, and the fats are usually stored under the surface of our skin. The next process is absorption. What is absorption? The food what we eat after digestion are absorbed into the blood, and that process is called as absorption. Usually absorption can happen in small intestine or in large intestine. In small intestine there are structures called as villi, which are finger-like projections, and this villi has the capacity to absorb the nutrients into the blood. In the case of large intestine, water can be absorbed, and in the case of large intestine, the water essential to your body will be absorbed back into your body, and only the unwanted water will be released out in the form of urine. Then the next step is assimilation. Then in the process of assimilation, the absorbed nutrients are taken to every cell in your body for either the growth of the body or for providing the energy to your body. So in the blood, now you have nutrients which are either absorbed by the villi or the water which is absorbed by the large intestine, and now the blood will have the nutrients and it will give the excess nutrients to the liver. Whatever could be used by the cell will be used, and if there are excess nutrients, it would be stored in the liver. Say for example, if there is excess glucose, it is stored in the form of glycogen in the liver. If there are excess amino acids in your body, it would be converted into urea, and if there are toxic materials in your body, it would be detoxified into alcohol. Then every nutrient is absorbed by the cells of your body. This is the process of assimilation. The next process is egestion. Egestion is passing out the waste of your body through the anus in the form of feces. What are feces? Feces is the waste material what we pass out. It is semi-solid in nature and it is undigested food material. What do they contain? They contain fiber, dead cells of your body, bacteria, and also bile pigments apart from the waste products of digestion. Then, as I told you, the waste materials are passed out of your body through the anus, which is the opening in your body. Then we learn about the structure of the stomach. So here you can see this is the stomach, right? What is the shape of the stomach? The shape is J shape. And where can you find the stomach? It is present in your left abdominal cavity, that is in your abdomen. It is present in the left side, and the cavity means the empty space which is present. There you can find the stomach, and it is the end of the esophagus because this tube esophagus ends with stomach. That's why it is mentioned as end of esophagus. And the wall of the stomach has gastric gland, and this gastric gland secretes a juice called as gastric juice. And this gastric juice contains 4 important substances called hydrochloric acid, enzymes called pepsin and renin. Then we have a quick revision about small intestine. Small intestine and large intestine can be differentiated in this way, that is, small intestine is extremely coiled. If you see this large intestine, it will be present in the outer surface, it will be bigger in size also and less coiled. But small intestine, if you see, it will be smaller in size and also it will be highly coiled. Small intestine can be divided into 3 regions called duodenum, which is the upper region, jejunum, which is the middle region, and ileum, which is the lower region. And throughout the small intestine, you have a structure called as villi, which are finger-like projections. This is the villi. It is like a finger, and the function of villi is absorption of nutrients from the blood. And then the structure of large intestine. As I told you already, they are wider. It is bigger in size when compared to the small intestine. And large intestine is divided into 3 portions called cecum, colon and the rectum. So cecum, colon and rectum. And this colon is divided into 3 regions again called ascending colon. Ascending means going in the upward direction. So ascending colon, which is this one, and transverse colon, which is the middle region or straight region, and descending colon, which is the downward direction. So these are the 3 portions in the colon. And the last part of this lesson is about maintaining healthy digestive system. Why should we maintain a healthy digestive system? Because it keeps us healthy, it keeps us happy, and also it gives us active life when our digestive system is healthy, right? So that's why we have to maintain a healthy digestive system. What is indigestion? The inability to digest food is called indigestion. If you cannot digest your food properly, then it is called as indigestion. What is the symptoms? How will you know that you have indigestion? You will have nausea, that is feeling like vomiting, pain or discomfort in the upper abdomen. These are the symptoms for indigestion. Also, sometimes there may be vomiting and heartburns. And who will get indigestion? It is not meant for adults alone. Even young children can get indigestion. So, young children to adults, anyone can get indigestion. What are the causes of indigestion? It is obviously poor eating habits like overeating. If you eat too much, or if you eat spicy and oily food, also you can get indigestion. And eating very fast also will disturb the process of digestion. And lying down immediately after you eat will also cause indigestion. And smoking and alcohol habits also will disturb your digestion process. What are the side effects of drugs? Side effects of drugs also may lead to indigestion. Whenever you take painkillers or antibiotics or steroids, and whenever you eat tablets or medicines with your empty stomach, it may also be a cause for indigestion. And also contamination, that is when you do not eat clean food, that time also there are chances of indigestion. Now let's quickly revise about some unhealthy food habits. So whenever you skip your breakfast, it is declared as unhealthy food habit because the blood glucose in your body will drop whenever you skip your breakfast. And long gap between meals is also an unhealthy eating habit. You can have small meals frequently. You should not have a long break between your meals. It is one more unhealthy food habit. Then overeating is another unhealthy food habit, and eating late night munching activities, junk food and crash diets, all of these are listed under unhealthy food habits. Then what are healthy food habits? How a healthy food habit is supposed to be? It should be a balanced diet with all the nutrients in proper ratio so that your body functions well. And take in more fruits, vegetables and cereals in your food. And avoid flavored or carbonated or sugary drinks. And also have sustained breakfast. What is sustained breakfast? Include lots of cereals, fruits and milk in your breakfast for a healthy food habit. And always you are expected to be aware of your appetite. Like whenever you watch a TV or phones, no, you will not know whether you are hungry or not. You will be just eating, no, you will be dumping so much. So do not do that. It is not a healthy habit. And then avoid eating preserved food. And it is good to have seasonal fruits. Whatever is available during seasons, you can have that more. And always clean your hands and use clean utensils when you cook, and do not eat uncovered food. So these are some healthy habits to be practiced, and some ways to keep your digestive system healthy. Take more water. On an average, you have to take at least 10 glasses of water daily to have a healthy digestive system, and also have a wholesome and fresh food rather than preserved food or junk food. Take in more fruits and vegetables. Do not eat fatty foods or oily foods. So as I told already, several small meals at regular timings will make your digestive system healthy. Then apart from this eating habits, also take at least 8 hours of sleep every day, which also helps in proper digestion of your food. And avoid stress, because stress may lead to constipation. Okay, how can you avoid stress? You can avoid stress by deep breathing, and also meditation will also help you to beat stress. So you can avoid stress by deep breathing and meditation, and also exercise regularly, which will also relieve the stress. At least for 30 minutes a day you can exercise daily. And brisk walks or jogging or swimming or any sports activity will help you fight stress. So this is a quick revision about chapter 4, that is the digestive system. So until I meet you in your next class, you all take care, keep learning, and bye bye.